All right, there you go. Okay, hello everyone. This is Jamie, and welcome to another
All right, there
exciting
you go.
episode. Okay, I am looking at my iPad. So sorry about that. But again, welcome to another exciting episode on the Gen Z Show, your go-to destination for all things, career and professional development. Happy Monday to each and every one of you. It's fantastic to be back here with you live, and I hope you're just as thrilled as I am to dive into a regular program once again. But if before we jump into today's topic, I want to take a moment to send a big shout out to all of our amazing viewers out there. We're live on Kumu, our Facebook page as well, and also on YouTube. So to all our viewers out there, hello, and let's keep this period of connection alive. Please drop a comment and let us know where you're tuning in from the Philippines or even outside the Philippines. And guys, can you believe it? We're halfway through October already. That means the holiday season is fast approaching. And yes, Christmas is just around the corner as well. And I would love to hear about your plans for the upcoming festivities. And of course, how's your career journey going so far? It's 10 out of 12 months for the 2023. How's your career going so far? It's a great time, to reflect and set new goals right now. So let's get this conversation rolling. I hope, our show has been a real eye opener for you, helping you figure out what you truly want in your career. And whether you're on the hunt, for a fresher career path or just needed some clarity on your current one, I hope we've given you some clear cuts, insights, and tips. Somehow, this show helped you on your career journey. Now, on to our main topic for today. We're diving headfirst into a topic that's all about, seizing opportunities and making those career dreams a reality. So grab your notepads or just take some notes on your phone because today we're talking about or we will talk about when and how to take risks for your career growth. We all know that, taking risks can be a bit nerve wracking, but it's often a crucial element. It's very important in propelling your career forward. So, if you're watching right now, whether you're contemplating a major career change, thinking about starting your own business, or even considering that big promotion, I'd like to let you know that there's a strategic art to taking risks, and we will uncover that today. But before we jump into the nitty gritty, let's hear from you first. I want to know your thoughts. Have you ever taken a career risk that paid off big time? Or perhaps you're contemplating one right now. Share your experiences and thoughts in the comments below and let's learn from each other, okay? So, without further ado, I would like to welcome our guest speaker for today. Please welcome our guest, Miss Laiz Cajegas.
Hi, Jamie. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you tonight,
Miss Laiz,
or
you
maybe
look
this
up.
afternoon because it's still 5.
Yes. Hello, Miss Lies. You look lovely today. Thank you so much for taking your time to guest on our show. So before that, can you please tell us or tell our viewers more about you and what you do and your profession?
All right, I'll do that, Jamie. So first of all, let me say you also look lovely today. So I think it's very gloomy here in Cebu, and it's good to have that fresh energy. So you and I can share that.
Yes, that's why I'm wearing yellow. I want to look
Yes, to
sunny.
bring the sunshine, to bring the
Yeah.
sunshine. For me, actually, I used to work for 10 years in corporate in a international company. But a year ago, I took a risk and transferred to a different kind of setup. So now I'm employed under a US based company. And I wasn't expecting this to happen because it was also a risk for me. But in less than a year, I got promoted and I'm now handling more people than I did in my previous company. So it was really a very big career change and career growth for me.
Right. Speaking of, because you've mentioned now how you started and all your backgrounds, but I want to know, like, the real life examples when it comes to the career perspective, ma'am. Now, I want to ask the first question. Can you share a personal experience, or maybe you can expound what you've mentioned earlier, and your personal experience when taking a career related risk paid off for you, and what did you learn from that experience?
So some of your questions I think will overlap. My answers are overlap with each of them, but just to expound a little bit on what happened to me. So, the my previous job, I was there for 10 years, so I was very safe, very comfortable there. I was growing, and then at some point, uh, I took the risk to transfer to another company because at that time, that was the onset of the working from home phenomenon. So I realized, oh, I kind of like working from home, working from anywhere, not being limited anymore. So that's what I was thinking. And what how I got there was actually a surprise to me. It was basically just, first of all, being open to a lot of opportunities. So that means doing things outside of work. And the reason why I got the job that I have now is because I was involved, and I'm still involved with a community where we prioritize personal mastery and leadership. And I met someone there who actually noticed that, hey, this girl is actually good in these things. Why don't I offer her this position? And I was really interested. And at first, it was a part time thing. And then at some point, they said, hey, we want to see more of your work. So they got me full time. And so I decided to do the transition. So it was really coming from openness and trying different things, meaning I wasn't just working 9 to 5. I was doing other things, dabbling in other areas of life that I was interested in.
Yes, and that's what we really want in life. It's somehow it promotes work-life balance, and we don't really want to spend so much time working with something that we don't really love. And I would love to deep dive on that thought later, but I'd like to share my experience too, Miss Glass, because actually, just to share with you, I actually spent 5 years in the corporate world, and during the pandemic I resigned and took a significant risk, by starting on a new career path. It was quite, daunting. It's scary at the same time, but I was determined to acquire new skills and find my way. And I think it's the price of getting out of your comfort zone. And
Yeah.
speaking of fears, Miss Glyce, what do you think are some common fears or hesitations that people have when considering taking risks for career growth, and how can they overcome them?
Well, I think first of all, and this is very common, especially if you're the eldest child in a Filipino family like I am, it's very common to be afraid of scarcity, to be afraid that, oh no, I'm going to leave something safe for something
Yes,
possibly
yes.
exciting, diba? Or something
Correct, correct.
risky but high risk, high
Mm-hmm.
reward. So that's one
Mm-hmm.
thing, the fear of scarcity. And the thing is, I think one of the ways in which we can overcome the fear of scarcity is um, knowing that actually in reality we're just nothing is really safe if you think about it. So even your corporate
Right.
job, and I know this for a fact because in my previous company there we were also hard hit by the pandemic. So nothing really is safe. And I think the pandemic has
Mm-hmm.
taught us that. So it we shouldn't be relying on the company. Instead, we should be relying more on ourselves. So that means that if you
Yes.
know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you protect yourself. So you prepare the emergency fund, you have backup
Mm-hmm.
plans, you have things like that. So that's one way to find abundance. And actually, it's not just abundance in terms of money, it's also abundance in terms of mindset. Diba? So you have a lot of skills, not just the skills that you have with the job that you have right now. So if you've been exploring, then you know that there are different options for you to take that maybe you were not aware of if you were just focused on the corporate setup.
Yes, and I think aside from the scarcity, I think one of the fears that we can include would be the, you know, your capacity to to um to give service, like, is it
Mm.
really, can I really do it, like, because you're into your safe space already, and being on that zone would help you, or would give you much more comfort than stepping out of it. So I think that's one of the common fears that people
Yeah.
don't want to experience in terms of changing career, or um, getting out of your comfort zone. As again, overcoming those fears is really crucial. I think it's really important for you to continue uh towards your career path. Is there any fears that you might want to add on that, Miss Lice? Or
I kind of want
no?
to add one more, at least, Jamie. That what I just realized while you were talking, the fear of the one hit wonder. So yung basically, I was so successful in my previous job, I want to grow somewhere else, but can I replicate this success? So that's a common fear, I think, as well, especially if you've managed to reach the top or close to the
Mm-hmm,
top of your current company. So
mm-hmm,
parang isa yun sa things that you're afraid of. How can I replicate this? So parang I think the way to overcome that is to know yourself better, like really dissect your
right.
experience. What was it that made me successful here? Because it wasn't what you
Mm-hmm,
did, it was how you were. So I always believe that we
mm-hmm,
don't manifest or get things because of what we do, but because of how we are. So if, for example, in your previous company, you were the type of person who took a lot of initiative, so you bring that
mm-hmm,
with you. You don't, you leave behind your accomplishments and whatever else that the previous company gave you, but you bring yourself
mm-hmm,
with you wherever you go. So if you're
mm-hmm,
aware of that, you can consciously be that way when you move into the new position, and it will
mm-hmm.
actually attract to you the opportunities that you want to have.
Right. And I think one thing then pala, Miss Glice, that I want to include would be the lack of skills or experience. I think that's one of the few things they are fear about. Ako personally, I was really scared that time because, I was feeling unprepared for a new career or role, and
Mm-hmm.
I overcame it with by investing in education and skill development. You have to take courses. I seek
Yeah.
mentors and gain relevant experience through internships or volunteer work. Like, I literally asked some people to hire me, but they don't need to pay for me. I just need to gain experience. So those are the
Yeah.
things that I've done before, because if you want to learn, you don't have to look at the price agad. You have to know what will be the process. So I did that. Like, I learned from those people, and I asked them if I can work for them for free, just to get the experience that I want to get. So yeah, I think that's one thing you can do if you're changing your career, or you're trying a new career path. Maybe you can try that and then see what will happen, or what are the things that you can gain through that. And it's very popular, Miss Glice, to have like imposter syndrome. No,
Yeah. Yeah, I
yeah,
agree.
right. Yeah, because I believe, like, many individuals doubt their abilities, and feel like they don't deserve opportunities. That's why they just somehow, if there's an opportunity na pumapasok sa kanila, they tend to just, to just decline it because they're not comfortable with it, or they're just really scared that they might fail. So if that happens, Miss Lice, like, for you personally, what would you do if you have like that kind of imposter syndrome?
And I'm going to tell you, because this is based on a true story. So remember, I mentioned before that I was part of a community. So I'm actually coaching. I've been coaching in that community, and
Oh,
one of my
wow.
coaches actually, yeah, has an experience like that. So basically, um, the thing about that is she was in a position, but she feels like yung imposter syndrome. So for me kasi, and I was telling her this as she was going through the coaching journey. I was telling her
Mm-hmm.
na, change the question in your head. Because I don't know if you've heard the quote. My quote kasi na, the quality of our life, and I forgot to said it, but basically the thought is, The quality of our life is determined by the quality of the questions we ask ourselves. So all this time, my coachee, which I'll not name for confidentiality purposes, she was asking herself the question na, am I good enough for this position? Am I capable of this task? But I told her, change the question. So when she started coming from, or for example, she was an introvert. She didn't want to run meetings, but she wanted to be
Mm-hmm.
promoted to a certain position. I told her change the question. So when she started coming from, how can I make the people in the meeting feel comfortable and appreciated by the company? When she started coming from that space, it was easier for her to find solutions because she wasn't focused anymore on whether or not capable siya or whether or not worthy siya, but on something else, which was in the end, by focusing on that, actually gumanda yung meeting niya. The people became more comfortable. They got closer kasi nag-relax siya eh. It wasn't anymore na, oh my God, if
Mm-mm.
I mess up, I'm not worthy. Because the focus changed eh, by just asking that simple question to herself. So, true story talaga siya.
Wow, that's a really great insight because ako naman, I have to be honest, there are times that I experience imposter syndrome. Like sometimes you don't really believe in yourself, even though there are some people who are already believed in you. It's just that it's so hard to 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 combat imposter syndrome. But for those who are watching or who are experiencing the imposter syndrome, I think it would be a great help if you change your perspective on the question itself. And of course, more importantly, you have to acknowledge your achievements din kasi, and seeking
Yeah.
validation through your accomplishments, because you did that. So why are you questioning yourself if you can do the next things, right? So yeah, good luck on that. I mean, it's a really hard it's a really hard way to combat imposter syndrome, but I think you guys can do it. So again,
Yeah,
Miss
it's
Light,
worth it.
thanks for that. Yes, so thanks for that, Miss Light, and let's move on to understanding like how to align career opportunities with personal goals and values. What strategies, Miss Light, can help someone determine if a career opportunity aligns with their goals and values before saying yes to any opportunities?
Well, for me, Jamie, one thing talaga pinaka-important is self-awareness. So you have to be aware, saan ka magaling, what are you good at, and what makes you happy. Because sometimes the things you're good
Mm-hmm.
at, you're not necessarily happy doing them. So
Right.
parang the ikigai thing na if you're good at something and then you're happy doing it. So you kind of want
Mm-hmm.
to look for best case ideal scenario would be to find a opportunity that aligns with what you're good at and what you
Mm-hmm.
love to do, and then
Mm-hmm.
you get paid well enough for it. But if, for example, you're just starting out in your career, maybe at the onset you're going to have to compromise muna on the paying. Like it's not as high
Mm-hmm.
paying, but like you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned, diba, you get the necessary experience, or you
Yes.
enjoy it. Because kung for example, magaling ka, you like talking to people. So if you want to move to a different career, parang feeling mo, you came from corp and gusto mong maging in talking more in the public sphere, like maging content creator or whatever. So you know na,
Mm-hmm.
in this kind of opportunity, since I know magaling ako dito, and I also enjoy it, maybe this would be good
Right.
for me. It's really self-awareness, knowing the
Mm-hmm.
good and the bad about yourself and accepting that, so you can adjust to yourself sa mga opportunities mo. So if there's something na parang it feels off because it makes money for example, but you're not happy, because I believe follow the joy and then the money will come.
Oh,
So
that's a great reminder. Thank you for that, Miss Lies. Can you expound that sentence or what you just said?
like for example, and this is I'm just observing because I have a few people in my life who really want to be promoted sa work, and then they're
Mm-hmm.
constantly frustrated because they don't get promoted. And ako, like for example myself, not to brag, just to give an example, na
Mm-hmm.
I when I moved to my new company, I didn't even expect to be promoted. I just knew na I was the type of person na when I see something that's not going right, I feel
Mm-hmm.
the urge to speak up, and it brings me joy kasi to participate. And
Mm-hmm.
even if wala akong posisyon, I enjoy participating, talking to people. Parang when I see something's not right, I enjoy the process of helping the company fix that. So because that
Mm-hmm.
was my focus, the joy in that. sumunod siya without me even asking for it or seeking it. So parang yun lang. So like for example, in other instances, if you as a person, you are joyful in your task, I'm not just saying na um, this is happy ka, whether or not you're um, parang choice kasi maging joyful eh. So when you're happy doing something, you naturally attract the opportunities. So not
Right,
just in the
right.
choice of task ka, but in how you are as a person. So if
Mm-hmm.
magaan kang katrabaho, who will you, for example, ikaw, Jamie, you have to choose between someone na magaling but hindi magandang katrabaho versus someone na magandang katrabaho and magaling. So, 'di ba? The joy would really be if you're enjoying your work, people will feel drawn to you, and so
Mm-hmm.
you have to find what will make me joyful in this circumstance, 'di ba? So that the money will
Right.
come.
Right. And well, contradicting to that question or to that statement, ma'am, because you know, in the Philippines, especially in the if you're a breadwinner, you wouldn't pick the one that gives you joy. Eh. It's more on the practical way na, oh no, even though I'm not happy with what I'm doing, I need to put food on our table. So I need to prioritize what kung ano yung parang nagbibigay sa amin ng makakain instead of what I'm really happy doing. So what will be your advice or what are your tips for that, Miss Lies? For those
First of all, Jamie,
breadwinners?
since I was that before, parang ano talaga siya. First of all, I'm not discounting that it's important to put food on the table. I know that for a fact. So yes, you can still have your safe job, but ano talaga siya, it comes with a cost. So that means you might have to give up on certain amount of time na ifo-focus mo on your passion. But that means na don't give up on your passion. So, for example, on the weekends, if you like to design, gusto mo maging artist, and I know because this happened to my friend talaga na she used to work in corp for a couple of years, and then at some point, she wanted to own her time. So parang she's now a full-time artist. She creates like art talaga, murals and stuff, and she also designs digital art. But that happened because while she was working in corp, she was on her downtime also following her passion. So meron siyang mga customers and stuff, but yung maliit-maliit lang. So it's like putting your foot out there, like on the putting dipping it in the ocean. Parang just don't focus on, okay, this is what's gonna make me money. I'm not gonna do anything else. I'm just gonna go home and sleep on the weekends or go out with friends or go out with family. Na parang if you choose to do that, the price is you still have to do yung ano mo, yung what brings you joy, but on the downtime.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it
Mm-hmm.
takes a lot of
Mm-hmm.
discipline actually, but once na plant mo na yun, it will be easier to transition.
Yes, and that's what we hope for everyone, doing something we enjoy because I really believe that, we are not here in on earth just to pay bills. We're here
Yeah.
to really live. And yeah, I think everyone deserves that. And discovering your strength is a critical aspect of personal and professional development. So I think self-reflection, Ms. Lies, will be very helpful, to do that or to determine if a career opportunity aligns with your goals and values. And I think seeking inputs from others like friends or mentors just to gain an external perspective on your strength. And you really have to pay attention po, no, on the passion or to your passions and interests as they often align with your strengths, right? So those are like very important considerations. Now, Ms. Light, let's talk about assessing risks and rewards. Like, are there any specific tools or techniques for assessing the potential risks and reward for a career decision?
Um, I think first and foremost, I won't be able to give a specific tool, but more on mindset kasi ako eh. So the mindset is number one, due diligence talaga. So that means you do your research. Ako, I was lucky enough because the person who recruited me, I knew her na eh. So I knew her values and so I could ask her about the company. But if you're not that lucky, that means you have to research talaga about the company. And if you can talk to people that are already working there or just basically just collect the data that you need para like again, so you have to be aware of your non-negotiables din eh. So is the environment good? So i-collect mo yung data na yon, and that will help you decide also. And so that's the plan A mo. The plan B would be, if this fails, dapat may caution ka eh, like cash or something, na in case this fails, you have somewhere to go to. So it's not jumping blindly. So due diligence basically is being responsible. Tapos after you make the decision, parang also letting go, because even if you do so much research, meron din naman kasing mga things you don't expect eh. And you'll only know when you're actually in the company if it's really for
Mm-hmm.
you. And if it's not, at least you have your backup plan, yung amount of money mo, for example, na, okay, if I resign tomorrow kasi hindi ko talaga nagustuhan yung risk ko, this amount of money that I have, will it be enough to tide me over until I find another job? So yung ganun. And
Right.
I think
Mm-hmm.
it's easier to take risk when you're younger or when you're in a better position. So parang if you find yourself in a parang very ideal na position personally, I'd suggest you take those risks at that time. Although, pwede din naman mag-prepare ka when you're older as long as you have the plan B talaga and do your research.
And Ms. Liza, you've mentioned about the non-negotiables. Some people really don't know those non-negotiables because as mentioned, mas hinahanap nila yung makakapagbigay o makakapag-provide sa kanila ng monetary support. But what are the non-negotiables that you think that they need to consider in terms of like taking a new career path?
For me personally, ang non-negotiable ko talaga, because my standard was set really high because of the company where I came from. I didn't leave because I wasn't happy. I left because I wanted to explore, 'di ba? Because I was there for 10
Right,
years.
right.
So, very big sa akin yung the employees would feel appreciated. Tapos may
Mm-hmm.
open space. Like they're open ba? So if for example, um if you were to work hard enough, will you be rewarded? So in that company, I knew for a certainty that I was and I would be. So if, for
Mm-hmm.
example, I see things na are not working and then I make a suggestion na ganito, ako mag-captain ng ganitong project on my own initiative, I knew I would be
Mm-hmm.
recognized for that. And that's the kind of environment I'm looking for. Now, if I speak up, if I do something, that I will be promoted. And if I go into an environment that's not like that, kasi for example, yung leader lang yung fina-follow or it's not that open, then
Right.
I know that's a non-negotiable for me. So even if I did my research, pagpunta ko doon, oops, mali pala yung manager. I might be slowly transitioning to how do I parang make the most of the opportunity I have now, and then eventually at some point kailangan mag-leave. So parang something like that yung mindset ko eh. Those are the just knowing
Right.
your non-negotiables, and those are very common and basic, I think. I think basically gusto natin ma-appreciate that our
Right.
efforts are parang being recognized not just monetarily but
Recognized.
also
Correct.
on a, on a emotional level.
I agree. And Ms. Lights, timing can often be a crucial in career decisions. Can you provide some insights on that aspect? Like how important is timing when it comes to taking career risks? Can you provide some insights on when it might be the right moment to seize an opportunity?
Well, for me, ano siya, don't, and this is very common. I've noticed this sa mga younger generations. Char, as if ganun ako ka-old. But basically, um, I came from a different time eh. So, or at least
Mm-hmm.
because I'm an older sister. So, I have a different perspective. So, some kasi, they
Right.
leave immediately pag nahirapan. But for me kasi, nothing is ever wasted. So, that means if you're in that
Oh,
position
that's
right.
so nice. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and you for example, a common kasi na complaint ng mga tao is, I'm not getting paid enough, so I'm not gonna give enough effort. Nagka-quiet quit ako.
Mm-hmm.
And I really passionately don't like that. Because for me, since nothing nga is ever wasted, if you're in a company and you haven't reached your full potential there yet, wag ka muna mag-leave. Kasi once
Mm-hmm.
you reach your full potential somewhere na meron ka nang na-achieve, and especially if it's not in a good environment, ha, and then you still were able to achieve something. Pagpunta mo sa next kasi, you can say na, this is what I achieved. Yung you can really
Mm-hmm.
bring something and say that this is what I contributed. That is for me the perfect time. So yung when you're on top, leave when you're on top, not when you're down and beaten. Ideally yun ha. I'm not saying yung mga
Mm-hmm.
toxic, but like on the general average sa mga
Mm-hmm.
companies, like don't leave immediately if you're having a hard time. Like maybe you're being stretched. Maybe there's something you can do
Mm-hmm.
there and achieve there so that when you move to the next company, meron kang baon na, hey, I did this. And
Right,
it's
right.
bigger ano yun eh, basta it was difficult. So parang, wow, despite the situation, you still did something about it, di ba?
Yes. And I think one thing that we also need to consider is like, make sure you have the skills and experience you need for, for the change you want to make. And I think about your personal life as well. Ako kasi ganun yung ginawa ko, Miss Lice, when I started, thinking
Mhm.
of taking a new career path. I thought about my personal life, like family and money, to make sure this change
Yeah,
fits. Especially I'm the breadwinner, and consider if I think you guys should consider as well if the company or project you're part of is stable or growing. One thing I learned about it when the pandemic started. Like it has to be stable or growing because that can affect your decision. So if your professional connections can help, that's a good sign. Also, if you're okay with the risks involved, why not,
yeah,
right? So yeah, I think timing really is very um it matters in terms of your career risk. And so yeah, Miss Lies, what does ito, this is very important for all those who are having, ayun yung sinasabi nating, um, imposter syndrome. So, what roles does confidence play in making career related decisions and taking calculated risks? How can individuals build their confidence in this regard?
for me, ano talaga, malaking bagay yung confidence. And it's not easy to build ha. So it takes the right environment
Mm-hmm.
and it takes effort on your part. But it's a really big thing because no matter where you are put, if like I said kanina, 'di ba, you are a certain type of person na confident ka, you take initiative, things like that. Wherever ka ilagay kasi, the opportunities will naturally be drawn to you if you move somewhere else. And ito, going
Mm-hmm.
back to my example of my coachee kasi, this is a funny story kasi in terms of skills, meron talaga siya. But in terms of confidence, she wasn't that confident. So parang when she started to improve while going through the program together, no, parang she started to relax. And then that was the time na parang when we started the journey, she was worried kasi her boss hired a consultant para advice sa work. And she was worried about that. Does that mean I'm not going to get promoted? But at the end of it, it turns out that when she became more confident sa sarili niya, the boss
Right.
actually wasn't hiring the consultant to replace her, but to help her.
Mm-hmm.
Because the boss believed in her in the first place, but siya lang yung hindi nag-display ng confidence sa sarili niya. So the boss was like, okay, maybe you're not ready. But when she was, so parang naging equal na sila ng consultant, and she wasn't worried about having the consultant there because the boss said na she's not actually there to replace you, so parang she's there to help you and we want you to learn. That's why we got the person on. So when you're confident kasi, your mindset changes, and so the environment and
Yes,
opportunities also
correct.
change. Maybe the
Mhm.
opportunities were always there, pero you didn't notice them because you weren't confident enough to
Yeah, and you will
grab.
close so many opportunities because of that, if because you lack of self confidence. But speaking of lack confidence, Ms. Lies, do you have like any tips or maybe share some tips how can our viewers build their confidence in this regard?
Yeah, so one tip that I learned is basically uh and I've been saying this a lot, take initiative, but don't start muna with the big things. So start with the small things. So if you're lucky enough to be in a company that rewards you taking initiative, pay attention to
Mm-hmm.
the things around you.
Mm-hmm.
Tapos, if you see something wrong or something that you can be improved, tapos you have an idea on how to improve it. So gawa ka ng maliit na project, propose it or something, and then get that little win from
Mm-hmm.
recommending something. That shows that you care. So that's plus points. Pogi points yun sa company. And at the same time, it establishes your confidence kasi you
Right.
know, oh, I have ideas. And in a small scale, I can impact the company. So maybe if I do this enough, my impact will be bigger and I can also replicate it in other places. So start small and go bigger, bigger, bigger until such time na you can propose yung medyo risky na mga projects or medyo takes a longer time or takes more effort from you. So yun, that's one thing talaga on how to develop that confidence.
Yes, and one thing I noticed about companies, they really like people who take initiatives.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think if you're if you will initiate some tasks or initiate some projects that might be very helpful for the company, then go for it, right? And as for me, I think for the confidence, you really need to know your strength, understand what you're good at. Knowing your skills can make you feel more sure, of yourself or what you can offer to them. Kasi if you know what you know if you know kung saan ka magaling, you can definitely sell that to your company right away because you know what you're doing. So you just need to know your strength under that, and bounce back from setbacks. Kasi I'm not, even though you're confident, there's no guarantee na, for example, Miss Lice, makukuha mo agad yung gusto mong
Yeah.
makuha sa
Can take
career mo.
time.
So, right, right. I agree with that. So, for those who are watching us right now, don't let failures get you down. Think of them, as opportunities to learn and grow. This builds you so much confidence. And of course, don't forget to celebrate your wins. When you achieve something, no matter how small or big that is, celebrate it. Just recognize your success makes you more confident. And as what Miss Lights mentioned, building confidence takes time, but it's worth it. It helps you make better career decisions and take the right risks. So, Ms. Lai, now let's tackle some common misconceptions about taking career risks. Like, what are some common misconceptions about taking risks in one's career, and how can people debunk this myths?
So for me, Jamie, one of the major misconceptions is that everything has to be perfect. So when I've done my research and I transfer, when I move, it has to be perfect. But the reality is things are never going to be perfect. So when you make your decision, always come from the thinking na parang there are some things dito that I will like and things that I will not like. So parang we have a framework kasi in the coaching that we call the price and benefit. So it's really when you choose to make a choice, what is the price you need to pay? So what are the things you need to give up to make this choice? And then what's the benefit that you get? So you always weigh it kung ano siya. Are you willing to pay the price to get the benefit? But that also means that when you go into a new situation, it won't be perfect kasi mayroong price eh. Nothing's perfect. So you have to pay a certain price. So maybe, for example, you get paid more, but that also means you're on call. So anytime on the weekends, they might call you, but you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Yung amount of money that they're giving me or the amount of joy I get from this to have this benefit na baka in the middle of a Sunday, they might call me. Diba? So things like that. So parang ano talaga siya, you really have to be aware that it's never going to be perfect and you have to be able to accept the situation that you're in. So that's one common misconception talaga about the transferring or changing careers. So yun. And then also um, the thinking na kailangan nandyan agad lahat, 'di ba? But it doesn't have to be. So it can take time and the willingness to be patient with that also na um, it will take time to get to where you were before sa kung
Mm-hmm.
lilipatan mo or where you are now.
Right. While you're talking, I think one thing I realized that it's, well, change is inevitable. You really can't stop it. So you just need to know how to face that. And I love your reminder, Miss Lies, that there's no perfect here in the here in general. And that's something that we forgot in our career because we want 100% perfect agad, which is not possible in any aspects of life. So that's a really really great reminder, ma'am. And now, Miss Liz, like, can you share some strategies naman for effectively managing or mitigating the negative outcomes, if negative man siya or it didn't went well. um what are the strategies for managing or mitigating that outcomes of career related risks?
For me first, I have a practical one and then I also have a mindset one. So the first mindset for me talaga is when you transfer or you leave, don't leave because you're running away from something, but because you're running towards something. So because if you're leaving kasi because I'm so miserable, my boss is like this, like that, that means that that's the energy you bring into the new company. You might find yourself repeating that cycle over and over again, and it's not a good cycle to repeat. Whereas kung you leave because, for example, like I did, I loved my previous company. I still love them. I still
Mm-hmm.
support them, but I wanted to try something different because I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to go back again into my writing, yung mga ganun. So I was running
Right.
towards something, not away from something. So it
Mm-hmm.
was a good thing. So on a mindset, on an energetic level, yun yung mindset ko when I was going into it. And on a practical level, I was lucky enough kasi my previous company, maaga kasi kaming nag-early retirement. So they gave us some pang pabaon going out. So that was
Mm-hmm.
my emergency fund, my parang risk, my buffer. So if you have that and also the support of your family, like in my family personally, we've gotten to a place kasi na medyo okay kami because like my sister's abroad na and all that. So there's an opportunity for
Mm-hmm.
me to take a safe risk. So if anything happens, like I know that somebody will like catch ba. So yun yung having those backup plans. So like if
Mm-hmm.
you have investments, if you have things like this, things like that na can catch you if you fall. Of course, we don't want you to fall, but just so my peace of mind ka when you do the transition. So that's the practical aspect. You prepare talaga yung backup options mo.
Right. And for those people naman, Miss Lies, who are watching us right now, na I believe introvert. I am an introvert as well. And some introverts really don't like to step out of their comfort zone because it's really scary out there. Can you like give advice, or what advice do you have for those people who are risk averse by nature but want to become more comfortable with taking calculated career risks?
I'm going to give a little biased answer, no, but because this is something kasi that really happened and it was really good for them. So if
Mm-hmm.
you want to grow in that aspect, ako personally, I've coached two people who were introverts to really shine sa work nila and they took the program eh. So if you guys want to check out our program on our, if it's okay to plug it, kasi if they want, and
Yes,
then
yes, please. Mm-hmm.
I also give like medyo short-term advice. So for those who want to be in it for the longer term, so you can visit our page, Leap Cebu. So you can find that, you can like that, and then we have our programs there. So you can take the longer program. That's the coaching one, but there are some certain prerequisites before you get to that. But yun, because it's an immersive coaching program, you get to experience that, and maybe that can be part of your goals. So yun, that's the longer term na naisip ko. But on the short term, as an introvert, it's really, I think, first and foremost, really getting to a place where you're comfortable with yourself. Because part of the reason kasi why we're not reaching out to other people is yung nga, like you mentioned, we have imposter syndrome. And yung isa kong coachee kasi, he said he was an introvert and all that. But then when we started leaning into what made him happy, making him a more joyful person, like he's deliberately trying to be happier as a person, be more loving as a person. And because he
Mm-hmm.
was taking care of himself and being happy on his own level, he found it easier to build relationships sa work niya. So in terms of practical task, yung goal niya at that time was to take a certain certification. So if he gets that, and which he got it actually, in terms of skills, nag-rise up siya. So most introverts kasi magaling sa skills. So that's very well taken. But in
Yes,
developing your
yes.
relationship with yourself, yung confidence sa sarili mo, and reaching out to people, because part of the reason why you don't want to reach out is you don't have confidence with other people. But if you slowly like develop your confidence in yourself, and then you also build relationships kahit one person at a time. You don't have to be the loudest person in the room, but if you make the most friends because you are a kind person, you're a loving person, you bring the joy into whatever you do. Like I always say na you're gonna do the task anyway, why not be happy, diba? And we can all be happy together. And
Exactly.
that's
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's how I approach my work. Eh. And I think some of the people maybe watching are people I work with, and they know for a fact na big deal talaga sa akin yung joy na we all have fun. I want to feel like no matter where I'm working, we're just playing together, parang mga bata. Not that I'm not doing my work well. It's just that Gusto kong mag-enjoy tayong lahat. So yung bringing that
Right.
kind of
Mm-hmm.
spirit ba, right? Even if it's just on a
Mm-hmm.
one-on-one level, you don't have to be the loudest person in the room kasi introverts are not, contrary to popular belief, they're not adverse to building connections. They just want it on a smaller scale. So if you can start doing that, like yung coach ko, he just started with two people, but two people from different departments. So parang he was starting na building that relationship. And I think with time, comfortable na siya sa isang tao, he can go to the next one. But these things happen because you choose to make them happen. You have to be aware na you're heading in that direction. So start one person at a time. Don't have to be the loud party animal if you're not,
Yeah.
di ba? If you're good at
Right.
one-on-one
Right.
relationships, then bank on that.
Mm-hmm. And for those Miss Lies who are, eto, can you like discuss the concept of fear of missing out or FOMO in Gen Z word in relation to career decisions and how individuals can make informed choices and external pressures.
Ayun. So I think it will always go back to, like I said, self-awareness. And I know it's very tempting na mag-ano, even in college, di ba? If all your friends in high school took nursing, you wanted to take nursing also. So it's very common and safe and comfortable to do that. But if you know who you are, and like I've said earlier, if you've done things outside of your current job, na you're dabbling, so you can avoid the peer pressure, or siguro hindi avoid. There's a saying kasi na you can't change the people around you, meaning you can't change their attitudes, their behaviors, but you can change the people who are around you. You can choose differently. So if you
Yes. Mm-hmm.
want to be this kind of person, knowingly, I'm sorry to say it, you'll have to choose your friends when it comes to your career. Eh. So if, for example, you don't want to be a slacker, you don't want to be someone who's not successful, so you knowingly gravitate towards people who are displaying the qualities that you want, because by
Right.
being in their proximity, you will be pulled up. So parang ano siya, my
Mm-hmm.
friend always says this, and he's a business owner kasi. So yung
Mm-hmm.
sinasabi niya all the time that what got him, he's a self-made man. So parang one of the
Mm-hmm.
things that made him successful was yung saying talaga na you are the sum of the five people you spend the most time with. So first, self-awareness.
Right.
If you
Mm-hmm.
think about that, who are the people you spend the most time around with? So parang ako, when I was in
Mm-hmm.
corp, I was very lucky because we were in the best team and the whole company, and the people there all took initiative. So it was an expectation. So when someone new was
Mm-hmm.
in, because I was one of those na nagte-train ng mga bago, not because I was asked to, but because by my very nature gusto kong tumulong. So
Mm-hmm.
we really made them feel na when you're part of us, ito yung parang unspoken expectation. So you kind of have to choose din kung saan ka, sino yung mga gusto mong, you want to be influenced by. And that's your
Mm-hmm.
participation. So it's not na you have to totally go against the grain. So you choose those na will make it
Right.
easier for you to transition. So like for example, if I want to be someone like you, Jamie, very courageous na mag take ng risk, I become your friend, di ba? How can I be your friend? Teach me how to be yukbo. Yung
Right.
ganun.
Right. And there's like a Spanish saying na Miss Lice. It syempre hindi ko yung Spanish yun. But in English, like tell me who your friends are and I will tell you who you are. So, this saying means that the people you choose to be friends with can reveal a lot about your own personality and values. So, yeah, I think hindi mo dapat pinapadala yung sarili mo sa peer pressure, especially if you're so aware of what you really want is in your career, right? So that's a very, very good point, Ms. Lies. And my next question would be like, are there, oh my gosh, malapit na 10 minutes na lang? Really?
We had such a good
Oh,
talk eh. The time flies.
yeah, I know. So we have a comment from Miss Hannah. Hi, Miss Hannah. She said, just had a career shift this year. That's one of the reasons why scared ako lumipat dati kasi ayokong ma-FOMO. I see. But congratulations on shifting your career, Miss Hannah. Hindi
Yeah,
talaga
ayun. So,
mawawala yung FOMO minsan, Miss Liza.
oo. So parang
Right.
ano lang talaga, price and benefit. So is
Right.
what I'm giving up. Like if you make choices kasi, like for example, simple FOMO, will I go with this friend group or that friend group this weekend? So what are you willing to miss out on? So yun. Kasi if
Right.
this is
Right.
very important to you, like for example, ito, you have to choose between going on a trip with these friends or just doing simple na dinner with these other group of friends. If that other group
Mm-hmm.
of friends is very important sa iyo, and then you only meet once a year, and then you have this tip, you can always go next time. Then if you choose the other one, that's okay. Basta aware ka, what's the price you're paying for choosing the other thing. Meron talagang opportunity cost. So what are you willing to miss out on?
Right.
Yun. So
What are you willing
choose
to do?
talaga.
Yes.
O parang choose talaga
Whatever.
wholeheartedly.
Yes, because if you know, as what you mentioned, Ms. Lice, if you have the self-awareness, you already know what to choose, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a really really great advice. My next question would be like, are there any ethical considerations that individuals, you know, should keep in mind when taking a career risk, especially in roles with significant, you know, responsibilities?
Well, for me talaga, I'm really big on being respectful to where you previously came from. So parang ayoko yung parang you betray them because at some level they helped you. I always say that my previous company, doon ako nag-grow up eh. So even if it wasn't good all the time because lahat naman ng trabaho merong mga downtimes, I'm still grateful. So coming first of all, coming from the space of gratitude. So don't do anything na parang AWOL, yung things like that. Parang I'm not really favorable with that. I want to live with a good relationship with the people na kung saan ako nanggaling. So that's one thing. Follow due process when you resign and don't just follow it in terms of parang yung things that you do, like your checklist, also follow it in terms of how you do it. So yung coming from a good space, yung hindi ka nang-aaway, kasi magre-resign ako, mga-away na ako, yung mga memes and all the reels that highlight that. And ako, I'm big on respect, on gratitude. Kasi, like I said, nothing is ever wasted. So the time may come na these
Mm,
people will help you. Like Lou. Lou was the one who invited me here and we used to work together.
yes. Mm.
'Di ba? So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sabi
nothing
nga
is ever
nila, Miss
wasted.
Lice, yeah, never burn bridges daw. That's one thing I learned then. Because yung past what do you call this? Past corporate work ko, I am still friends with them and they give me opportunities as well. So yeah, that's a really, really great ethical thing to do in terms of your career. Is there anything else, Miss Lice?
Basically, yun lang naman eh. Just follow due process in where you're leaving and then where you're going as well. So parang
Right.
honesty, gratitude, yun talaga yung mga big things when you transfer. Kasi they'll understand you naman eh if you really come from being open na. Because like me, when I was resigning, parang they were trying to convince me not to, but I told them that my heart is really calling me to do this. So they understood in the
Mm-hmm.
end. And parang it felt like blessing ng mga parents na, okay, go, and that was more fulfilling for me to do that.
Right,
Parang
right.
it was a beautiful experience to say that goodbye in that way.
Yeah, no heavy heart na, diba? Parang
Mm.
it's much better to exit gracefully than doing an AWOL. And how about Miss Liz? Like, can you discuss a role of patience and perseverance, naman, when it comes to reaping the benefits of career risks? Um what are the roles of being patient?
Well, first of all, I like the word patience, no, but yung sa perseverance, I actually had a mindset shift about that earlier this week. Because I realized pag sinasabi mo kasing persistent, it brings about an image of gigil, yung parang you are insistent and it's forceful. But when you say consistent, it's a different meaning kasi consistent means that it's gentler and it's there all the time. Kasi persistent is parang nagno-know na sa'yo eh, but you keep doing it versus yung when you say you're being consistent, so you're not forcing yourself to do anything. You just keep doing, keep showing up, keep doing the best you can, and then at some point it will get there. So the role actually of patience and consistency in getting to where you want to be in your career is parang yung sinasabi nilang enjoy the process. So don't measure the final
Yes.
outcome, measure how you feel when you're getting there. So for example, if you want to be promoted, don't measure your success about whether or not promoted ka today, tomorrow, or next day. Parang accept na it is inevitable that you'll be promoted, but how do you want to feel? So when you do your task, are you doing it out of resentment or are you doing it because you want to parang doing it with that extra na joy because you want to have fun? Like for example, if you're running a meeting with colleagues, very simple lang to ha in ways of inserting joy na if you run a meeting with colleagues, are you just all about the task or do you like make sure na there's an activity there where you can all laugh for like kahit 5 minutes, yung things like that ba na you can actually achieve your goals while having fun at the same time and being that's part of enjoying the process. So finding those ways to be joyful and while you're headed to where you're headed, which is let's say admit mo na lang it is inevitable ma-promote ka, not maybe not here but
Mm-hmm.
where you're headed. But along the way, at least you're happy. Kasi you can get promoted, you can get the goal, whatever that goal is, but hindi ka happy. So be happy on the way there and you'll be happy when you get there.
Yes, I love the fact that this talk is more on focusing more on the joyfulness and the happiness that you should get in your career because there's so many people I know that yung pagpasok pa lang ng Monday, ay, Monday na naman, it's so draining agad. But the fact that we are highlighting this, that you should be happy in work, it's a very great reminder that we're still blessed and we have this opportunity to grow. So thank you for that, Ms. Lies. I really really appreciate that we are talking about this right now. And eto naman, Ms. Lies, for oh my gosh, last two questions na lang. That's okay.
Go,
We
go.
have 4 minutes. Ang bilis-bilis ng oras.
Yeah.
So Ms. Lies, what advice do you have for individuals who are concerned about the impact of their career risks on their work-life balance and personal life?
Ayun. So, again, it goes back to being aware of yourself and where you are in your life. So, if, for example, you're younger, you have more time for yourself. So in that case, pwede kang mag-take ng a lot of risks because time is not and energy is not really an issue. But when you're older, that has to factor. So parang basically, it's not that don't take risk. It's just that you add different factors into your decision making as you grow older and change your parang perspective. So like for example, maybe you can take risk as long as mas malapit ka lang to where you live so you don't have to commute that much. So you need time for your kids. So yun, those are the different things that change eh. So parang there's no one set criteria. It's always where am I right now? What's important to me? And then I factor that into my decision.
Right. And last question, Miss Lies, like for those considering a major career change this year or early next year, what steps can they take to make a successful transition while minimizing potential setbacks?
Oh, ayun. So, yun. So make sure first of all that they're leaving for the right reasons. So yun, like I said, leave because you're headed somewhere, not because you're escaping something. And then due diligence. Parang summary lang to na lahat na discuss natin. So I'll just recap it na lang din. Due diligence and where you're going. And due diligence also means weighing yung price and benefit. If you're willing to give this thing up to get this other thing. And next is to prepare the practical matters. So yung like what you said earlier, di ba, na make sure na you're in a place wherein the family's good, you're good, you can afford to take risk, tapos meron ka ding backup plan. So that could be as simple as this amount of money, enough to tide me over for 2 months. Or maybe if I leave this job, is there somewhere I know na if I could ask for a job, like a friend maybe who owns a cafe, na if I lose this other job, can I go to that friend and ask na, hey, can you like hire me for a bit until I get an ano? So kaya importante yung mga connections and the experiences we have outside of work eh. Because that's where you develop those relationships with people maybe in the circle where you want to be in the future. And so I think, yeah, joining the community that I mentioned, parang I met a lot of people who gave me opportunities na parang I didn't expect and I was always just dreaming of before.
Mm-hmm.
So, yun. So it was part of my
Nice.
extracurricular talaga. It took time, but out of my resting time. But having that as one of the backup mo, like the connections ba and the opportunities, not just the money, will really help smooth
Mm-hmm.
over the transition. And last but not the least is really to make sure na ano ka, your internal condition is good. That means that you're willing to bring in the joy and the love. And when I say love, I don't mean romantic love. I mean na you care
Yes.
ba? You genuinely care
Mm-hmm.
about the company and the people you work
Right,
with
right.
and you make people feel that, like really sharing that. Wherever
Mm-hmm.
you go, I think you'll be fine kasi people will always want to I will always be drawn to people who are kind and who are joyful. And you and by
Mhm.
yourself din, kahit anong mangyari sa'yo, you bring that joy and that love wherever you go eh. So, you'll be fine. Because
Right. And
most
there's
things
a
go naman.
mhm. Yes, and there's a domino effect talaga, Miss Lies, no? If you have the mindset to be joyful or kind, magre-reflect siya to your work and all that and all the aspects, if you are happy with what you're doing, I don't think you will think of the monetary na eh. Kasi you really love it. And I think ano na lang siya, you love it and then you'll do great
Yeah,
on
and the
that,
money will come
and the money will
because you're
come.
doing
So
great.
yeah,
Uh,
so there's a domino effect, and I hope all our viewers right now can experience that. So Ms. Lice, thank you so much for this topic. It's been very, very informative. Do you have, again, can you just discuss to us what or something that we can or something you can promote, rather, just if they want to follow you or you want to promote something, please do so.
yes, thank you so much. First of all, I'm very happy because I like talking to people and had a great conversation with you. That's one of my barometers of what makes a good thing, I mean, a task joyful. So yun, good convo. And second is, I think one of the people on Facebook mentioned this as they're part of my community kasi if you want to follow our page, so that's LEAP, so Leadership Excellence Achievement Program in Cebu. So we actually have three stages to this program. So first is Flex, that's a 2-day seminar where it's the foundations of everything that you're going to practice in LEAP. And then we have the second stage, prerequisite yung Flex done. It's ALC, Advanced Leadership Course. That's a 3-day seminar. And then the third, and we usually call it the glorious mystery, because that's where all the magic and the fun happens. All the stuff you learned in Flex and ALC, you get to apply it in LEAP. It's a 8-week coaching program. You get your own coach. You have people, you have a buddy, you have people working with you. And like I said, diba, Jamie, you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if you are part of the community after you graduate, you get to be around people who want to grow, who are loving, who are joyful. If you want to have a taste of the love and joy that I talked about tonight and also shared with you, please like the page. I think it's in the comments, and you can inquire there. So we have an upcoming flex in November 11 to 12. So if you want to join that, especially if you're in Cebu, and we also have in Manila, but since we're in Cebu, I'm just going to promote that. You can join.
I was about
Please,
I
but
was about to say,
yeah.
Miss Lies. I was about to say, pwede bang hindi taga Cebu kasi I wanna join.
We have in Manila. So I
Yeah,
forgot
yeah.
kasi the ano, but we're basically just a big community. We have a bigger
Mm-hmm.
community in Manila. So there's been like 88 leaps already in Manila, and in Cebu we have the eighth one, and the people actually commenting their graduates of the eighth leap. And
Wow.
that's very recent yung mga some of the stories I told you. Those were successes of the people that I coached in a span of 2 months, 8 weeks, basically. They made
Right.
such great changes in their career and also in the personal level, which is not the topic of the show, no, but maybe on another time we can talk about the personal growth that they
Yes,
have.
yes. Mhm.
The goals
That's
really
great.
there are just career and personal, basically.
Right. So maybe we can just leave the link on our comment section so that they can
Yes.
visit it. Once we're done with the live. Thank you so much, Ms. Lies.
Mhm.
Again,
Thank you.
guys, that's all the time we have for today's episode of the Jency Show. Thank you so much for joining me, Ms. Lies. Thank you so much, and for sharing your thoughts and all your insights. It's very, very valuable. And sabi nga ni Miss Chris Jakalan, love this episode. I love it as well, Miss Chris. Thank you so much. So again, remember, guys, your career is a journey, and we're here to support you every step of the way. Stay tuned again for our next episode. And until then, keep working on those dreams and aspirations. Guys, have a fantastic week ahead. Ms. Lies, thank you so much once
Thank
again.
you.
And remember, guys, you've got the power to shape your future. Take care and see you next time on The Gen Z Show. Bye, guys.